Hi, this is Bob Weiss. I'm the host of Shaking Your World. Cheers.
Folks, welcome home. Yet another edition of Shaking Your World. We are here on the Ghost Tales portion today, and we have with us some guests from the Park City Paranormal Group up in Merrill, Wisconsin. So, Michaela, you have taken a tour here before, haven't you?
Yes.
I guess we might kick off with that, but perhaps a little background. Why don't the four of you introduce yourselves?
Okay.
Hi, my name is.
Hello, my name is Michaela Ocampo. I guess I'm kind of the person who founded the group and, reached out to my community and asked if anyone would be interested in starting something like this. And these are the lovely ladies that stepped forward and decided to join.
Fantastic.
Hi, I'm Katie Stern, and without these guys, I don't know what I'd be doing right now. I enjoy the paranormal, so.
Much of my life I've just been waiting for a bus anyway, so that's not the worst thing in the world.
Yeah.
I'm Tracy Fick from Merrill also, and I was pretty excited when I saw Michaela's post looking to start up a paranormal group up in Merrill because it's something I've always been fascinated in my whole life, and I've owned taverns also throughout my life, and I've had a little bit of experiences, but been more into watching the TV shows than getting out there and getting some real experience. So I thought this would be a blast.
Well, let's kick this off for you. And you are?
I am Heather Wellner, and I am just a bored woman looking for some friends.
The Desperate Housewives of Merrill edition. So I have to ask, why Park City? I know nothing about Merrill.
So Merrill is actually also known as Park City. Almost everything there is named Park City this, Park City that. The city of parks, yeah. And I just thought it flowed because, Park City Paranormal. They both started with P, and I thought, here, that's kind of clever.
PCP, by the way.
PCP is.
I love it.
So.
It makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
So how large is the population of greater Merrill metropolitan area?
10,000.
Yeah.
Okay. Cozy. So how old is Merrill?
Ooh. And it's gone through quite a few names, actually, before it was Merrill.
Yeah, Jenny Falls.
Yeah.
So
mid
1800s.
Yeah, early to mid 1800s, I would say.
Okay, so was there any of the... Wisconsin has a huge history of fur traders once upon a time, going back to the 1600s. So do they have a stand in Merrill at all?
Fur traders.
Yeah, the French.
It started out, I think, as lumber.
We were mostly
the lumberjacks.
lumber, because we have the river, the Wisconsin River runs through.
River means you got beavers, and that was beaver pelts, so probably there as well. Okay. Side note means nothing about what we're doing here. Just breaking some ice. So the paranormal is an interesting little concept, and it's different for almost everybody. Mm-hmm. My personal belief that we've heard ad nauseum is that essence precedes existence, and therefore my mind, essence succeeds existence. So when you're through with the shell, the spirit that's you, the energy continues on, and you want to call that a ghost. Mm-hmm. Cool. Now, who's had the most ghostly experiences here?
I think Katie's probably, maybe Katie or Heather, I would think.
Yeah.
I think so from what we've
So
been
tell us
talking.
about, when did that begin for you?
About 10, 12 years ago, I think, is when I first had my experience, and that's when I started getting into the paranormal.
Sure.
It was at my house, and I ended up seeing a figure in that home. And I actually still have dreams about the house today that I can't figure out. And ever since there, I've become just interested in the paranormal. I want to help people understand it more, as well as myself. I want to understand it more. So that's where it all began.
Was there a history in the house of things going wrong?
As far as I know, the history, there was 2 people that passed away at that house. And every dream I have, it's always the same figure. And I've seen this figure, and some of my family members have also seen this figure, which kind of leads me to believe that it was actually real, that it happened.
Yeah.
And
It's like male, female.
Male.
Okay. Tall, short.
About 5'7"-ish, I want to say.
Okay.
He's about as close to my height, actually. Which is scary. So, but yeah, just with that experience, and I would still like to go back to the house to know for sure of what is actually happening there. But that is actually the moment I wanted to know more about the paranormal, and that's why I'm happy that I found this group now.
Excellent. Cool. Michaela.
Okay, so, this started when I would say I was about 11, 12, early middle school age. I always thought that, like, ghosts were just something for Halloween. I didn't think that they were, like, monsters, whatever. I thought that was all just fake until I went to a friend's house, and she lived with her grandparents, her parents and her grandparents. They all lived in one house. And we decided to do a Ouija board because we didn't know what that was. We were young, and we thought that'd be a good idea. And midway, through the Ouija board, we hear a crash in the kitchen. And so we stop what we're doing. My friend whips out a digital camera out of nowhere, not really sure where she got that from, but she starts taking pictures of the kitchen, and then she looks through them, and she starts bawling her eyes out, and I'm like, give me that camera. What's on that camera? And I look at it, and the whole entire kitchen is in flames in the picture, and I cannot describe it. I was frozen. The other friend that was with us was like, don't even show me. I don't even want to know what you guys are looking at. And we freaked out. And I think ever since then I was like, okay, something's up. So a few weeks later, I went back to that house, and knowing it was like something was up there, I'm like, okay, this is haunted. I don't know, And my friend was home alone that day, and she wanted some company because she didn't want to be there alone. And it was during the summer. We didn't have school. So my mom dropped me off there, and we were doing dishes, or I was helping her doing dishes or something. And we hear a loud crash upstairs, and we were the only ones home, and we both looked at each other, and the fear just came back, and we're like, no. And so we take her dog on a leash, we go upstairs, and she's like, it's in the back room. I'm like, oh, okay. So we go in the back room, and we didn't find anything that would fall or anything, and the dog immediately starts growling at the hallway. All of its hair is standing up straight. It starts running around the leg of the table, and it starts choking itself. It's so so overwhelmed and creeped out, freaking out at this thing in the hallway. And I'm like, I'm out. And I run through the hallway, and it's ice cold in the hallway. So I knew something was there, besides the dog's reaction.
Yeah.
I run down the stairs. I run outside. I call my mom. She's mad at me because she's like, I just dropped you off. And ever since then, I've had a few creepy things here and there, but that was the main kicker. I knew something was up, and I knew I wanted to find out more. So I researched, and like Tracy, I watched a lot of the shows, and I'm like, I want to do that. And I've always been kind of scared, like a scaredy cat as a kid. So this is kind of my way of building up more tolerance.
Well, it's good to be cautious, by the way.
What was that? Yeah,
Very good
right.
to be cautious. Heather, what do you got?
Oh, I got a lot, but I talked to my dead grandpa, and my dead father. I have seen things, I feel things, I get senses and feelings, and I get sick, and just have a way of knowing things that I shouldn't. So,
Just more
special.
susceptible to it. Yeah.
Nice.
Very, very.
My experiences pretty much have been in our taverns because we, especially the second one that we had, was the second oldest bar in Merrill, 1889 or something. I can't remember the exact date, but it too was basically on this order of a building, same format, and used to be a brothel and things like that. And we had a couple of, just maybe a little feeling here or there, you notice something, but we had my workers had the experiences. I had one that was absolutely, they don't exist. There's always an explanation for it. There is no such thing. Okay, I was out of town. I get a phone call. He's freaking out. He's like, I believe. What's going on? What's going on, man? I just saw a woman walk from the kitchen to the other room, to the dining room, and walk back. I just saw it. I said, well, now you know. And I had a cleaning
Damn
woman.
customers,
I
right?
know, right?
Damn drunk bartenders at the end of the night. No. I had a cleaning lady in the middle of the night, too. She used to come down after the bar closed and clean. And she was cleaning back dining room tables, and she saw what she thought was me walking downstairs. We lived upstairs. And she went up to say something to me, realized it was a woman in an orange, long, old-fashioned dress, let out a blood-curdling scream, scared the crap out of her. And we did actually have a paranormal team come and investigate. So we went on that little tour, and we got German voices. We had figures all in the basement that we saw. Nothing scary at all, but they used to throw a few things around and scare the workers a little bit every now and again. But it was nothing really scary. It was just, but I never really got to really experience for myself. So certainly hoping the spirits here tonight want
Well,
to
you're spending the night tonight.
let
in
themselves
the,
know.
Death Hooker's bedrooms. Let's see what happens up there. So, when you were on the tour, you expressed something about smelling different things before. Let's talk about that for a minute.
Yeah, so I don't know what it was. I remember going in the basement first. It was just me and my husband and our tour guide. And, you know, I knew it was haunted, so I'm like, okay, I'm going to try not to let that thought, like, overtake, you know, what I'm experiencing. I didn't want to just be like, oh, that's a ghost, you know. I'm like, okay, I'm going to calm down. And I didn't see anything. I didn't hear anything out of the ordinary, but I did smell like, kind of like something fruity, like strawberry-ish. I don't know. I don't really remember, but it was fruity. And I was like, oh, that smells good. And then it was just gone. Like in a second, it was gone. I'm like, okay. And then while we were down there and we were on the other like end of the basement cellar, I smelled it again for a split second. I'm like, okay, like what is, I'm like, do they have just something fruity chilling down here? Like, I don't know. And I asked the tour guide and she's like, I don't think so. I'm like, I'm like, I wonder if, I don't know what's up. But yeah, so that was kind of odd. And then I got that picture, that weird picture of a figure at the bottom of the stairs, and I'm not sure what that's about.
That is
but
a picture, no question about that.
Yeah.
Anything upstairs?
Yes. So just like how Heather was saying, how she gets kind of sick sometimes, I've never experienced that type of thing, you know, regarding the paranormal. And when I was upstairs, and you know, the very top, there was a room with the white curtain in front of it, and I don't know what it was, but I kept being like, you know, I kept looking over there. I was just drawn to it, and I don't know why. Like, I don't know why. It's like I expected something to pop out of there. I'm like, you know, I just kept looking over there, and finally I said, can I ask what's back there? And she's like, oh, it's just kind of storage. Like, there's not really much back there. Do you want to see? I said, sure. And she opened it up, and her flashlight started flickering, and I'm like, I didn't see it happen, but she told me, she's like, whoa. I'm like, what? And she's like, my flashlight just went crazy. I'm like, oh, that's nice. And then I remember looking at the picture of that baby, and I was like, okay, that's weird. And she's like, yeah, they think that baby was dead in that picture. And I immediately, and I don't know if it's because I'm a mom, I don't know if that made me sick, just the thought of a dead child, or if it's, I don't know, I just got this really overwhelming sense of like, just, I don't know, I was nauseous, I was dizzy, I was faint, I started sweating. I'm like, I need to leave this room right now. Like, and it's weird because like the abortion room, like all that, like none of that made me feel that way, just that one storage room. And it's weird that her flashlight was going off too. I'm like, maybe I'm not just crazy and something really was in here, and I was just drawn to it, and I don't know why. I'm not claiming to be any type of psychic or medium or anything like that, but it was weird. I'm like, I had to turn my back to it. I'm like, okay, I'm done. Like, I'm really sick right now. Like, my husband was looking at me like, knock it off. I'm like, no. I'm like, I was sweating. Like, I had to, like, take whatever I was wearing. I had to take the cardigan off. I'm like, we gotta go. So I don't know if it was just, like I said, the fact that I'm a mom and looking at that dead baby, like, that made me sick, or if it was something in the room, because I can't explain the flashlight, you know.
And
so.
he have anything?
What was that?
Your husband have any?
My husband's a skeptic, so of course he's making fun of me, because I'm like, wow, you know. So I think he likes to pick on me a little bit, you know. But I want something to happen to him, so he's like, you're right. But he really liked the tour. He thought it was really cool. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right. So do you have any preconceived notions about tonight, anyone, or anything you're looking for, or any interactions you want to have?
I would love to feel like I've finally invalidated in belief. You know, I would love for something to appear to me.
Sure.
Or, you know, it'll be great if we capture something even afterwards on film or on whatever, but I would really love to audibly hear something, visibly see something, feel something. I really want the experience. I've always wanted that, but I've never gotten it. And I'm in that belief right now that nothing's going to happen tonight, but maybe we'll catch something when we go home and look everything over. But I'm really thinking, nothing will probably happen just because I want it to. So.
Right?
Okay, that's fair. Anybody have any anything you're really afraid of?
Spiders.
Spiders. Okay.
That's it.
I love spiders, so yeah, that.
Anyone else?
I'm scared of like situations, so that's kind of like something stupid like a plane crash or a tsunami. Like, Like a,
That's probably not going to happen.
Yeah,
yeah, I hope not. Yeah, that'd be, yeah. Yeah.
Have you experienced anything?
Once or twice.
I would guess he's got a couple.
Clearly, you haven't watched the podcast, but
No, I have not, only because I don't want how I get feelings.
oh, then you should ask me questions now.
I don't want it to have it so like my own
Sure.
in my mind is like,
Right.
oh yes, this place is definitely haunted and it's here, but
Yeah.
when I get these feelings and I get the way that I feel, I want to have no knowledge of
Have it be genuine.
right. So I want it to be real. So I have not even. I never Googled the place. I never checked it out, just because I want to be able to.
I'll give you a short tease. Shaker's is known and long time known as one of the 5 most haunted bars in the country. And that's not just because of the clever marketing, it's because we legit are haunted. And you'll find things on each floor, and they're there all the time. The resident spirits are here all the time. So, and not to give much up, but you will find something in the ladies' room. A little girl named Elizabeth. She was 8 years old. She's very playful. We have several things downstairs. One in particular named O'Connor, who was a soldier for the Civil War. He's often seen in full regalia.
I've heard he likes blondes. Or
He
maybe
likes
it's...
blonde. It's not unusual to have him stroke your hair, rub your thigh, or something like
Oh, well.
that. Bonus. Upstairs,
Stern
we have a few different things. Molly Brennan was a hospitality worker. The Capones owned this building from 1924 to 1946. So speakeasy bar here, the brothel's upstairs. And one of the brothel workers was murdered upstairs. And her name is Molly Brennan. So she's up there all the time. And there are different things. Like the person who killed her is up there, and the person who assisted is up there, and there's other things.
There's other things.
But the resident spirits generally are interactive, and they like the attention. We deduce that. We do a visiting spirits from time to time that maybe aren't quite as nice, but the resident spirits generally move them out quickly.
Oh, nice. Like they're protective?
Maybe more than one.
Wow.
So what toys did you bring with you?
Oh, these guys are the
Metered up,
equipment.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, we've got our EMFs and our EVPs and what else?
Recorders and plenty of batteries.
And GoPro and yeah, we brought
Loaded for bear.
Yeah, we're trying.
Cool. Well, there's that magical hour between 11:30 and 12:30, and then there's that time from 3 o'clock until 6 in the morning. My personal experiences up there, without giving much away, is that after 3 o'clock in the morning, if I'm asleep, it doesn't matter if I'm alone or not. I generally get the impression I'll wake up, I hear like a woman's footsteps, like stilettos walking back and forth. I often get a gust of like really cold, and the windows are closed, the air's not on, whatever else. And then I often get a impression in the bed next to me. Sometimes you can see it. Sometimes you just sense that someone is sitting in the bed. Sometimes you get the sensation that someone is sitting on your chest as well. Wow. So that's known by a lot of people.
Has
Okay.
anybody ever gotten hurt?
Pardon?
Has anybody ever gotten hurt physically?
Wah, wah.
A couple years ago, Netflix shot something here called Ghost Sex that's going to come out sometime this year. So there are all sorts of stories of interactions up there. People have gotten touched. People have gotten scratched. That's not by resident spirits. That's visiting spirits. In fact, that's quite recently. Some people on Leah's tour. Who's here tonight? So you're taking Leah's tours as well.
Yay. Okay.
So that'll give you the opportunity to use the divination rods, which is pretty cool.
Yes.
So perhaps your father and grandfather work for you. Generally, it's things you have a strong attachment to.
I was gonna say, when I was here last, she did the divination rods because I didn't know what they were, and we had never used them, or I at least haven't. So I'm like, what are they? Can I just ask what they are? And she's like, sure, I'll just show you a quick, And she said, is there someone here? And then it said yes, And then she said, is it a residential spirit? And it said no. And she's like, where did you follow them? And it said yes. I'm like, that's. That makes sense because the hotel we were staying at was pretty sketch. And I'm like, that wouldn't surprise me. But yeah, So, and we asked if it was nice. It said no. We asked if it was going to hurt me. It said no. It was just not. It was crabby, maybe. I don't know.
We'll
Right?
have our days,
Breanna.
right?
Right, yeah, right. And we're like, well, as long as you don't hurt me, we're good.
Neat.
Yeah.
All right, well, I hope you have
excited.
great experiences. I hope you get some information, and I want you to share that, of course.
Absolutely.
Either way. Because not everything works for everybody all the time.
Right.
Just like, spirits being grumpy sometimes, they can just be a little reclusive. And,
Right. Exactly.
But I think 4 women in the brothel should be
This is
something
interesting.
up there. So
I brought my sexy jammies, so.
I did not.
and I'm spooky.
I got my bunny ears. Is that gonna come?
She did bring bunny ears. I brought markers and coloring books. So I mean, we got it. We're set. I brought chocolate. I mean, it's gonna be a good time.
is that for you or the spirits?
Both. They want some.
Share.
They want a break of my Kit Kats. They can have a break of my Kit Kats. It's fine.
I
It's
don't
fine.
share
I'll
the
share.
candy.
Yeah, she might not
I
share,
didn't
but
get this body eating celery and sharing my food.
yeah, right.
Yeah, that's all right till that.
Okay.
It's all right.
Okay. Well, I think you're ready for a fun time tonight.
Yes,
So
I'm
it has
so
been a busy
excited.
little week, and spiritually. Good. And cool.
Yeah.
Any questions of me without giving that?
Ooh.
Are there any like anniversary dates that we're rolling on at all of anything?
No. For some reason, August has a ton of things taking place here.
Oh.
The last time that someone died here was in August.
Like this past August.
No, 2000.
Oh, okay. I'm like,
That we, her name is Bernice. We named the pizza after her, the Bernice Pizza.
oh, okay, yeah. Oh, wow.
Why not?
Right? Right not. Have you?
How long have you owned the place?
Yeah.
35 years.
35 years. When you bought it, did you know about the spirit?
Look, well, I knew about spirits.
Well, yes.
My first encounter was when I was 4, but
Oh, yeah.
nobody talked about that here. It wasn't the selling
Oh.
point, and it wasn't the thing in the 80s.
Suppose.
Jeez, that just made me feel really old. 35 years is only in the 80s, and I'm like, the 80s was yesterday. So I'm thinking 35 years, 1960.
You will find at some point upstairs you are kind of stuck in this little vortex of time. And,
Sure.
I've heard that before.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Patrick, any questions of them? Ladies, anything else before we set you on your way?
One more thing. Have you physically seen a figure here, or have you
Yes.
just? Oh, you have. Oh, okay. Male or female?
Both.
Oh, so numerous. Okay. Do they understand who you are, like the owner, and they're okay with you, and they're like,
They're
yeah,
aware.
okay.
Yeah.
They're aware.
They're very much aware, yeah.
Okay, you're like, I run this show now, and they're like,
Well, we cohabit this
I was gonna
space.
say you can have a date.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're the current stewards here is the way to look at that, because they've been here way before I've been here.
true. Yeah. Wow, that's so cool. I love it. I'm very excited.
Well, thank you much for playing, and I hope you have a great experience. I look forward to the after effects, as
Yes.
it were. And there we are.
Thank
Thank
you.
you for so graciously hosting
Yes,
us.
thank you
My
so
extreme
much.
pleasure. I hope this kicks off everything you're doing for your next series of paranormal runs. But
Absolutely.
for those of you at home, the 5 or 6 that watch this, I thank you for your time, and I hope you enjoy this. Any questions, of course, please contact us at shakersmilwaukee@gmail.com, or just stop by the Mighty Shakers and take a tour for yourself. Be good to yourself, be good to your families. Cheers.
Cheers.